Respected members of the University of Colorado Board of Regents and distinguished leaders of the University of Colorado system, UCCS is considering the implementation of a university-wide attendance program that would enable students to retake courses that they have previously failed or withdrew from, provided they pass it the second time around. Today, we are going to examine the feasibility of this incentive program at UCCS. Before we discuss an incentive program like this one, we should talk about why one is being considered. College tuition prices in the U.S. have been increasing considerably, and it's becoming way more difficult for students to pay for their education. A study by the College Board found that the average out-of-pocket cost for in-state tuition and fees for public four-year institutions went up 34% over the last decade. These escalating expenses are contributing to higher student dropout rates and making it far more challenging to obtain a college degree, especially for underprivileged and underrepresented groups. This issue is particularly important for UCCS, as it conflicts with the university's mission, virtue, and values. Under the Inclusive Diversity section of UCCS's mission statement, it states, "Inclusive diversity as a foundation for teaching and scholarship that prepares students, faculty, staff, and community members for both local and global multicultural realities." The university also claims it aims to provide an open and supportive campus environment for everyone, regardless of their background, identity, or abilities. However, the rising cost of tuition is making it harder for UCCS to fulfill this mission by limiting access to higher education and creating barriers for underrepresented and marginalized students. This is actually hurting UCCS itself and not just the students. According to the National Student Clearinghouse Research Center, UCCS's first-year retention rate is lower than the national average, and UCCS's six-year graduation rate is quite lower than the national average. These statistics indicate that UCCS needs to improve its retention rates to help students succeed academically. One way to improve retention rates and academic performance is to implement a program that allows students to receive a full or partial refund depending on university resources, if they retake courses and pass. This program would not only incentivize students to retake courses they previously failed or withdrew from and subsequently increase the likelihood that they will succeed in the second time around, but research has also shown that refund policies can have a significant impact on student success and persistence. A study by Hollenberg and Beck found that tuition refund policies had astoundingly positive effects on student outcomes. Specifically, the authors found that more lenient tuition refund policies are associated with higher graduation rates as well as higher GPAs. There are a few requirements and criteria that UCCS would have to follow in order to establish this program. First, they would have to establish a transparent refund policy so that there is no ambiguity. Second, they would have to track and verify student progress just like they do online already. But there would have to be additional extensions made on the back end to implement this program. Finally, we would need to allocate resources for staff, technology, and direct funding for the refunds. This program would positively affect both UCCS and its students by incentivizing students to succeed academically, enhancing UCCS's reputation for student support, and meeting UCCS's mission of inclusive diversity by lowering barriers of entry into higher education. There are costs and risks, the most upfront of which is the initial financial burden of the refunds themselves, which would most likely require a committee or a program administrator to review before implementation of the program. Also, mitigating risks of students abusing the program by monitoring student progress and the overall effectiveness of the program. After a consideration of all factors, including the upfront costs, past use of programs like this and their effectiveness, as well as the university's potential leap in reputation and student retention rates, we highly recommend the implementation of this program on at least one test campus. Thank you so much for your time, and if you have any questions or would like to discuss this more in detail, please reach out to vcamarat@uccs.edu. That's VCAMARAT@uccs.edu. Thank you so much for your time. Goodbye.